Imagine stepping outside one night and noticing something strange. The tides have stopped, the ocean is eerily still, and the world feels just a little bit off. The sky above is darker than usual, almost unsettlingly so, and the familiar glow that usually bathes the landscape in silver is nowhere to be found. If you're wondering why werewolves are suddenly out of a job, or why your midnight stroll feels extra spooky, you might be living in a world where the moon has vanished overnight. So what would actually happen if the moon suddenly disappeared? It's not just a matter of missing a pretty view. Our entire planet would be thrown into chaos in ways you might not expect. First things first, say goodbye to those beautiful, romantic, moonlit nights. The moon has been lighting up our evenings for billions of years, and without it, the world would be plunged into a much deeper darkness. Stargazers would be left disappointed, and your nighttime selfies? Well, let's just say you'll need a lot more filters to make up for the lack of natural lighting. The moon is the second brightest object in our sky, and without it, even city nights would feel gloomier. But the real chaos doesn't stop at the darkness. The moon's disappearance would set off a chain reaction that would affect life on Earth in ways most people never consider. The most immediate and dramatic change? The tides. The moon's gravity is what pulls our oceans back and forth, creating the rhythmic rise and fall of tides that we've come to rely on. Without the moon, the tides would shrink to a fraction of their usual size. The sun would still create some tidal movement, but it would be much weaker, barely a third of what we're used to. Surfers would find themselves waiting for waves that never come, and coastal communities would notice their beaches changing shape as the ocean's energy fades away. But it's not just humans who'd be affected. Coastal ecosystems, those delicate networks of life that depend on the ebb and flow of the tides, would be thrown into turmoil. Countless species of fish, crabs, and birds rely on the tides to feed, breed, and survive. Without regular tidal cycles, many of these creatures would struggle to adapt, and some might even disappear altogether. And here's a plot twist you might not see coming. The moon actually helps stabilize Earth's tilt. Without it, our planet would start to wobble much more on its axis, like a spinning top that's losing speed. This wobble would lead to wild swings in climate. Winters could become much longer and harsher, while summers might stretch on endlessly, with unpredictable weather patterns in between. Imagine snow falling on beaches or heat waves in the middle of what should be winter. It would be as if our planet got a little dizzy, spinning and tilting in ways that would make life much more challenging for every living thing. And let's not forget the darkness. Nighttime would be so much darker without the moon's gentle glow. Even in the countryside where the stars shine bright, the absence of the moon would make the world feel emptier and more mysterious. For animals that hunt or move at night, like owls, wolves, and even some humans who love a midnight adventure, this change would be huge. Animals that rely on moonlight to hunt, navigate, or avoid predators would have to adapt quickly or risk disappearing. The entire nighttime ecosystem would be forced to change its habits, with unknown consequences for the food chain. And what about us? Our calendars, festivals, and even our stories are tied to the moon. Lunar calendars would become obsolete, and cultural festivals that celebrate the full moon would lose their meaning. Even werewolf movies would feel a little less scary. Humanity's history, art, and mythology would look completely different if the moon had never been there to inspire us. From ancient cave paintings to modern poetry, the moon has always been a muse for our imagination. So next time you catch a glimpse of the moon, take a moment to appreciate it. Maybe even give it a little wave just for good measure. Because if the moon ever disappeared, our world would become a much stranger, darker, and more unpredictable place, almost overnight.